What's up guys, welcome back another YgoPro duel video. New format Monarchs. We all know Monarchs got a huge hit on the new TCG ban list, so like September 1st, 2016, and I think we all know the deck is pretty much, dead. It's definitely not tier 1, definitely no top tier deck anymore, but it's still, you can still run it with one Pantheism, one Stormforth, huge hit by the way, and of course only one Ehther, but again, the deck can adapt, Monarchs can adapt. It's again no tier 1 deck anymore, but it's still okay, since Erebus is still at 3, use its grave effect to get back the Ehther, definitely a very important move for the new Monarchs in the new format. Vanity's Fiend, this is currently my deck list. I mean, you still have two possible ways to run Monarchs: domain build, the standard domain version, versus the Exceed build. And for now, I'm leaning a bit towards the domain version still, because Burning Abyss, Blue Eyes, Pendulums, all these decks are still heavily relying on their extra deck, and the domain is still very strong, a very strong floodgate paired up with Vanity's Fiend. I think Vanity's Fiend, together with multiple copies of Allure of Darkness, is something to keep an eye out for in the new format. Vanity's Fiend is just so good against pretty much all the top tier decks. The other way you can run is the Exceed version. Brilliant Fusion is still relevant, but for me, I always draw the Lazuli, so I don't like Brilliant Fusion, but it's still a very solid option. Gofu is also a new addition, you know, the interaction with Kuras, tribute your Gofu, pop your tokens with Kuras, get 2 draws. If you have return, you can immediately search out your Ehther, very solid, definitely. But in domain, Gofu is a bit less useful. The only reason why I prefer Gofu over something like Red Layer is because of Allure of Darkness. Currently at 3 in the TCG, but I think it's very dangerous to run 3 Allure. I think I'm running like 11 targets, 3, 3, 3, and to Gofu, indeed 11 targets, but you know, Erebus is not something you would rather, you want to banish, right, with your Allure, so it's risky if you want to play 3 Allures. 2 is okay with the Gofus, with the Idols, the Vanity's Fiend, definitely a very solid option. New draw engine, since the deck is even more inconsistent compared to in the previous format. Triple return is needed to immediately search out your Erebus, your Ehther, for example. I think Escalation is getting more and more important into the new format. Tribute summoning during your opponent's turn, alongside with both Majesties and Vanity's Fiend. That's definitely something to keep an eye out for as well. Definitely very important, but I'm still testing things out. A very, very early format. Definitely don't take this deck list for granted. The extra deck version of this deck is also very, very okay to try out in the new format, but again, Domain is still a very strong card against a lot of top tier decks. But again, let's see a few example videos. Alright, some standard duels against Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes definitely one of the better top tier decks going into the new format. Gofu is okay in the deck if you're playing the extra deck version of Monarchs. So Exceed Monarchs, you have access to rank 5 Exceed plays, and Ultimate Tzolk'in as well if you have Prime in your grave. But Gofu and the 2 tokens work well with something like Kuras. Kuras, not really sure if I want to main deck multiple Kuras, especially for domain. Kuras isn't really too important anymore, especially with only one Ehther. You know, no interaction anymore during your opponent's turn, or not as much compared to the previous format, so it's still not sure if I want to main deck Kuras and multiple Kuras. For the extra deck variant of Monarchs, Kuras is needed to pop your own return as well, but Kuras is such a dead top deck, you know, a dead draw. Sure, you can get a few draws out of it, but it can't attack, it's slow. And with only one Ehther, one Stormforth at our disposal, it still needs more testing. Something I'm very sure about is main decking maybe 1 or 2 copies, well, maybe 2 copies of Escalation paired up with Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend is so important against a lot of top tier decks. Every deck special summons, right? Maybe I'm going to main deck one March of the Monarchs. It's okay, but it's just, it's an extra target for the opponent to destroy with Twin Twister. So it's still something I want to test out. Valor again just cripples this deck. The deck is even more inconsistent compared to previous formats, which is I think very obvious. We lost the Pantheism, well, we lost 2 Pantheism, we lost 2 Ehthers, so that's definitely a very big blow. Titanic Galaxy is still very hard to get over, and yeah, that hand immediately entering the scoop phase here. Nothing I can do about that. The vassals, well, the squires are, I think, again much more important at this moment. I'm running 3 Eidos, well, obvious because of Allure of Darkness, and 3 Idea as well. Again, still very important to get back your one of banished Pantheism or your one of banished Stormforth, so that could be important, running 3 Idea. I'm not running Mithra. Mithra is something I definitely want to test again. Want to definitely main deck because of the interaction with like Testalos, Mega Testalos, maybe the regular Testalos and maybe the regular Chaos, but still targeting isn't really too great also in the upcoming format, but Mithra is something I try to I want to try out as well in the new format. I go for Vanity's Fiend, get a search the Ehther and attack over his blue eyes, leave the white spirit dragon on his side of the field. Vanity's Fiend holds him off and makes sure that I'm going to survive this turn. He does pop my own idea to get back the one of Pantheism. You know, Erebus is going to be very important to use its grave effect, get back your one of Ehther, get back the Erebus itself, discard your Pantheism, get a search with your one of Pantheism. Very, very important moves. Trade-in is also something I tested out, but it's quickly outside of your first turn play. Trade-in most of the time might become a dead card. It's okay with Erebus, but if you don't have Erebus, or if like Erebus or your level 8 Monarch is your only tribute in your hand, you don't want to trade in it. You want to tribute summon for it, maybe get a search with return, so running trade in is very, very risky. Same with Allure, by the way, but Allure has more targets like Eidos, like Vanity's Fiend, to banish themselves. And here again, the Vanity's Fiend coming in very clutch, attacking over this field, but yeah, Vanity's Fiend does hurt this deck as well. You know, you can't special summon your Prime, you can't special summon your Idea or your Eidos. But I know I'm very, very aware that here in this case I'm giving my opponent more time to draw into his outs, like Phoenix Ring Blast, maybe the Mirror Forces if he runs the Mirror Forces, the Drowning Mirror Force I believe, or Raigeki, Dark Hole. All of them are easy outs for your Majesty or Vanity's Fiend. Now he's able to pop my, or at least banish my return, use one of Stormforth and Escalation for Kuras. Maybe I should have tributed his White Spirit instead, but it's not going to matter. Run into Strike and this is game over. Back in the day with 3 Stormforth still legal, still have chances, but now definitely not due to the lack of we lost 2 Pantheism, we lost 2 Stormforth and 2 Ehther as well. But this is still a very, very early deck list. A lot of things I would like to try out as well. Maybe the Mega Chaos in the main deck made with maybe like 1 or 2 copies of Trade-in. The Hippo, the Hippo Carnival, I believe the name is, of the quick play spell card, is something I also want to try out as well. Reasoning is an option. Reinforcement of the army. Pot of Duality, definitely. But very risky if you run multiple copies of Idea and GoFo as well. So Duality is still in the testings. But okay, guys, feel free to leave suggestions, opinions about card choices, decks I should play or I should try out. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.